order. I'd be looking for a motion to approve today's agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Duckham, supported by Williams. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. Takes us to item 3, public comment, the first attempt, or first opportunity, I should say. Any public comment? Come on up.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Keith Gilmore. We still good? All right. Has a large impact on economic development and on our economic development impact, or on our economic development efforts. It also has a large impact in the community, supporting over 97 jobs in the community with about $190 million in economic output. It also supports almost $6 million in state impact between income and sales tax, and as well as supporting visitors' jobs. But beyond that, it's an airport. It's a sign of our community that we have something here that that makes a difference, that can support our business community, that can support recreation and aviation opportunities. And with some of the events, you know, with the MIS and the NASCAR race and those kinds of things, that supports those race teams and those kinds of things that fly in as well. It gives a little cachet to our community, but it has a big impact. With that, I appreciate you hearing me out. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Yes, please approach, state your name. You have 3 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning. My name is Amador Ibarra. I live at 230 Summit Street in Summit Township. I'm here to strongly oppose the decision by the Jackson County Sheriff's Office to join the Federal Immigration 287G program, which delegates immigration enforcement authority to local law enforcement. This move undermines the trust between law enforcement and the community and threatens public safety by discouraging immigrant communities from reporting crimes. People who have yet to obtain citizenship would be subject to further and intrusive scrutiny based on the Sheriff's Office cooperation with ICE. People who are citizens will be apprehensive to call for emergency services because they will be subject to further intrusive scrutiny based on how they look, the color of their skin, and their names. The 287G program has been widely criticized for leading to racial profiling, civil rights violations, and the diversion of local resources from critical public safety initiatives. Rather than fostering cooperation, this program isolates vulnerable populations and damages relationships built on trust. This Sheriff's Office participating in ICE activities will lead to increased contact between local law enforcement officers and people who look like me. With the Sheriff's Office experiencing budgetary constraints due to a twice failed millage, the additional expense of housing people on a civil warrant is cost prohibitive. The Jackson County Commission and the Sheriff's Office will be held accountable for civil rights violations that occur based on participation in this program. The cost of your accountability, should that arise, will be passed on to the people of the Jackson County. I believe that local law enforcement has a duty to focus on community safety, not federal immigration enforcement. Our Sheriff's Office should be working to build trust with all residents, not creating fear among immigrant families. I'm calling on the Jackson County Sheriff's Office and this committee to end the enrollment process in the 287G program. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Any public comment? Last opportunity for public comment. Seeing none, public comment is now closed. Takes us to item 4A, committee item A. Be looking for a motion to approve last month's minutes.
So moved.
Moved by Duckham. Supported by Walls. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. That takes us to item B, Public Defender Fiscal Year 26 Grant Request, MIDC. Mr. Fortino is here. Good morning, Mr. Fortino.
We are here today to discuss our cost analysis budget for the next coming fiscal year. I've included an amended staff report. The only changes we have made from before is that I talked about this a little bit the last time I was here, I think. We're looking to add 3 assistant prosecuting attorneys, assistant public defenders. And that will bring us, according to our calculations and also the MIDC grant manager, that will bring us into compliance with that standard. And as you know, we have to be in compliance with all standards, or it'll affect our funding and therefore the budget, therefore the office. Now, I've set out the cost analysis with the report that I filed, and there is an additional page that I added that covers the cost of the additional attorneys. Also, we're looking to add a conflict coordinator. I know that many of you know that since we have the number of attorneys that we have now, and the number of, clients, we run into conflicts where there's a conflict of interest between our office and that person, or between persons in cases that we're involved in, which is contrary to the professional rules of conduct. We cannot represent persons with whom we have conflicts of interest. This has been building and building and building for quite some time. The more people we represent, the more chance there is for a conflict of interest. So we need the extra attorneys to help pick that up. Right now, our compliance analyst is doing, in addition to her job description and what she's required to do, she's been managing that conflict schedule, trying to locate, recruit, and oversee the conflict attorney lists that we have. We have some 10 or 15 conflict attorneys that we use on a regular basis. That's become too much work for one person. MIDC now is requiring so much in the way of reporting to them that it has become basically 2 different jobs. So we're also asking for what we call a conflict coordinator in the cost analysis. It's called an administrative assistant. But the MIDC prefers the title conflict coordinator. As I said, I've included the additional costs that would be included in that. Again, those costs will be covered completely by the state, by MIDC, won't cost the county any more money. We'll be able to run our office a little bit more efficiently, I would say a lot more efficiently, because as I said earlier, and I hate to repeat myself, but the compliance analyst is doing work that's not contained within her job description. She's gone way beyond, and this conflict coordinator position has become basically a position of its own, with the, like I said, recruiting, compliance, make sure they comply with MIDC standards, payment, checking their bills for fees under supervision of myself and my chief assistant prosecuting attorney, and all the other duties that go along with it. We're requesting those additional positions in this. I'm going to ask this panel to approve this and send it on to the full board for its review and its hopefully its establishment.
Okay, thank you. Committee members, do we have any questions? Commissioner Duckham, and then we'll go to Commissioner Bear.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I can't support this request for increase in funding. As former Commissioner Elwell And I maintained when this arrangement was made by the state that it's just gonna be inflationary, and it's proven out to be. Nothing against Mr. Fratino or his staff, but every time you add the prosecutors up here next, they have to have the same thing you got, and it gets inflationary. So I like it just no more than it is. Thank you.
I would like to, again, reiterate that this will cost the county no more money. This is state money. I get the idea that the prosecuting attorney's office is going to come in and ask for, may come in and ask for more attorneys as well. I get that issue. And that's been an issue throughout the time I've been here. I think this pretty much levels it out, but I understand your concern, sir.
Commissioner Bear.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning. Reading through your cover letter here, you've got 26 employees currently,
Yes.
plus yourself for 27.
And my chief assistant, I believe.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
I'm sorry. I moved too far away.
Said and his chief assistant as well, Tony.
Chief, yeah, I said it as well as my chief assistant.
So you've got 28 employees currently in your office.
Yeah.
Okay, and this request adds 6 more?
No, 4 more. 3 more attorneys and the administrative assistant.
This request adds how many persons to your office?
4. We're asking for 3 more assistant attorneys and a conflict coordinator in order to maintain standards with the MIDC. I think I've discussed this before. Felony attorneys are not allowed to handle more than 150 cases per year. Misdemeanor attorneys per MIDC are not allowed to handle more than 450 cases per year. And that limits us. And right now, we're not in compliance with that standard. And in my discussions with the grant manager at MIDC, that number of attorneys will bring us into compliance with Standard 6.
So with the limits that the state has imposed on the number of felony and misdemeanor cases your staff are allowed to handle, are you currently receiving more felony and misdemeanor
Yes,
than your staff legally are allowed to handle?
we're not in compliance. That's and I think that MIDC has given us until this month to come up with a plan to come into compliance with that standard. And this is what we're trying to do. Again, it's a standard that's set by the state statute and the MIDC. So we need these attorneys to meet that standard.
All right, thank you.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I have just a couple of quick questions for you this morning. So my first question, I believe that you already stated, but these, in acceptance of this here, this would assume that the county would not have to pay anything extra outside of its regular county share. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And then secondly, to not approve this would mean that we would be we would have to then pay the full bill. Is that correct? Is my understanding of that correct?
No, I don't believe so. You wouldn't have to pay the full bill. It's just that we would not be in compliance with Standard 6.
Okay.
Go ahead, Deb.
If we're not in compliance with the standards per MIDC statute, they will come in and make us in compliance. Well, they'll go through a process. There's a appeal process that they make you go through. And then what they'll do is they'll come in and impose it upon us. So they come in, MIDC would come in and take over and impose it upon us. So ultimately, it's a long process that we would have to comply with. So if we don't do it voluntarily, they will make us do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's what thank
basically,
you.
in a nutshell.
If we're,
Thank you. That's
if
what
we're
I was
not in compliance with the standards of MIDC, they could just pull the plug on the whole thing.
I got you. Mr. Chair, if there's no further questions, I'll offer a motion to accept and pass on to the full board.
Go ahead. Is there a support?
Support.
Support, I would only add just a quick discussion. Obviously, there's some concern on the additional burden this might place on the prosecutor's office. I would like to get her input on where she thinks that puts her. I'd also like to get a look at the caseload status that the trend we've been on for the last 3 years. If I could get that, Deb and all the commissioners could look at that so that we are in compliance and give your office what it needs, but also keep in mind the balance of the scales of justice so that the prosecutor's not at a disadvantage. With that being said, is there any further discussion? If not, be looking for, I have the motion to forward it to the full board. Could you do a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Bear,
Yes.
Commissioner Walls,
Yes.
Commissioner Duckham,
No.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy.
Yes.
Passes.
Thank you. That takes us, thank you, Mr. Fortino. Have a good day.
I did want to make an announcement real quickly before I leave. I do intend to retire from my position. Retirement would become effective April 18th. And I want to say it's been a good working with this board. You're a reasonable board, and I do appreciate the assistance, and I've enjoyed it. So
Thank you as well, Mr. Fortino. And Commissioner Williams, go ahead.
Thank you. So I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. You said that you're retiring as of April 18th of this year?
yes,
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you for your work, and thank you for everything you've done so far, sir.
thank you.
Thank you.
Takes us to item C, Animal Shelter, first quarter report. Good morning, Lydia.
Good morning. At the animal shelter, we're continuing to be very busy. And I included our statistics from 2024, now that we are well underway into 2025. Proportionately, our numbers of surrenders to intakes to transfers, those are all still proportionate, although they've gone up. And we're still able to not have any euthanasias for time or space. We've had a big increase in owner-requested euthanasias. We do about 2 a day. So that room is staying very busy for the people in our community. Animal control is also staying busy. They've been doing a very good job of following up on everything that comes into the shelter. They also get calls through dispatch. We get complaints or requests through Facebook Messenger, so they're getting requests for response in from a lot of different areas, and they're doing a good job of keeping everything covered. Our community engagement, the first 3 months of this year, a lot of pet therapy. We always enjoyed that. I know that people enjoyed that. We had a stress relief day at Western High School when they were finishing their exams. And a free microchip clinic, which was sponsored by a member of the community. The Girl Scouts did a project for the animal shelter, and they raised a bunch of donations and funds for the shelter, and they came to bring that over to the shelter and visit with all of our animals, so we really enjoyed them coming to see us. And we kind of broke down how things look from 22, 23, and 24. And as you can see, still trending upward on everything from intakes, adoptions, clinic services. So that's still continuing to move in that direction. And we did a little breakdown of all the different animals that we saw come through our doors in 24. And it's always exciting. You never know what's going to happen over there. We have the Bark and Brew coming up. Save the date for Saturday, March 17th at Ella Sharp. And we're looking forward to that this year as well. We did start a new program with the Area Agency on Aging. This is for victims of elder abuse. If someone's in a dangerous situation and they won't leave their environment because they don't want to leave their pet, we are partnering with the agency to put them in a specific foster home so that the person is encouraged that their pet will be safe and cared for until they can be reunited. The agency's temporary housing currently does not allow pets, so for that just immediate transition from the abusive home to where they're staying later on, we're just gonna try to fill that gap so people aren't staying in a dangerous situation just because they don't wanna leave their pets. And the agency is funding that, any care involved on our part. We applied for a grant for free vaccine for owned animals, and we have a private donor offering the free microchips. So we are going to be trying to target people in the community that maybe have a harder time traveling to the shelter or don't have the funds to get vaccines. We're gonna try to go into the community and offer free vaccines and free microchips. We did just have a couple of 8-month-old puppies that came in with parvo last week. That's something that's really easily preventable with a vaccine. So we're hoping to reach more people that aren't currently vaccinating their pets and offer that to them. That is for Jackson County residents only. That was it. Any questions?
Thank you. Committee members, are there any questions? Commissioner Bear?
Good morning, Lydia.
Good morning.
Did I hear you correctly that you do about 2 euthanasias a day?
Correct. We schedule them at 1 and 3 o'clock, so that's what our schedule allows. If there's an emergency that comes in, we'll try to accommodate them, but we're just scheduling 2 a day.
Okay, it's a lot higher than I would have anticipated. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, I must commend your operation again. You guys do a wonderful job out there. I don't know how you do it, but I think you guys could sell ice to Eskimos, and it would work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any other committee member questions? If none, be looking for a motion to receive the report. Moved by Bear, supported by Williams. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Department, for your work.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Takes us to item D, airport resolution in support of establishing an aviation maintenance technician school. Good morning, Juan. How are you today?
Doing well, Chairman Kennedy, Commissioners. So we are in the process of applying for grants to establish an aviation maintenance technician school at the airport. This will be a school that will provide training for individuals that are in the 11th and 12th grade in high school and those that have graduated high school for a fee. And this is one of those aviation careers that are greatly in need throughout the United States. And in order to do this, we need a resolution of support from the county to send to Senator Peters and Congressman Wahlberg's office. So the request is to have the resolution approved.
Committee members, there are no costs associated with this, but are there any questions? Commissioner Bear.
Good morning, sir.
The maintenance of airplanes currently, how is it handled?
So maintenance at the airport is handled by Jackson Aero. It's a local company that repairs the airplanes. Any repairs to jet aircraft have to go to Duncan Aviation over in Battle Creek. This particular maintenance facility that we're proposing will be to train mechanics, aircraft mechanics, that will be able to find a job all over the United States. So locally, there's not as many jobs needed for aircraft mechanics, but throughout the United States, we're short by about 4,000 every year of qualified mechanics.
In what building will this aviation maintenance technician school be housed?
So the first phase of the program, there's a hangar that's for sale. And it's a corporate hangar that will be large enough to handle between 15 and 20 students. And that will be the initial phase. If the program continues to grow and we need more capacity, then in the future, we'll have to raise funds to build a maintenance facility training at the airport. Right now, there's a hangar that's for sale.
So if the program is very successful, which we hope it will be, you may be coming back in a year or two asking for funds to construct a new facility to house them?
No, sir. We will probably be raising funds through the private sector. There's a large interest in this program, and the private sector is waiting to see if we can get the program started, and then they're going to support it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Committee members, any other questions? Commissioner Duckham.
Yes, Juan, could you elaborate who is eligible to go to this training school?
Yes, sir. So any high school student that's in 11th and 12th grade will be eligible. And then anybody that has graduated high school that's interested in becoming an A&P mechanic, an aircraft maintenance mechanic, they will have to pay a fee. So for high school students, there will be no charge, but anybody that's post-high school will have to pay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sounds like a great program and also provide an opportunity to young people in our community to find a viable career. So I'll be in full support of it. I'll be looking for a motion to send this to the full board with recommendation of approval.
So moved.
Moved by Williams, supported by Bear. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you could please post the vote.
It's been posted. Passes unanimous.
Thank you. Takes us to item E, Airport Flagship Private Air.
Okay, thank you. This is a flagship private airways jet charter company currently based out of Willow Run Airport in Ypsilanti, and they're wanting to move to the Jackson area. This will provide additional income to the airport, and it gives us better access to charter flights for the individuals that are locally interested in doing that kind of service. I'm requesting a approval of a 5-year lease. They'll be renting 2 offices in the control tower building.
Committee members, any questions? Seeing none, I'd be looking for a motion to forward to the full board with recommendation of approval.
So moved. Support.
Moved by Bear, supported by Duckham. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you could please post the vote.
It's been posted. Passes unanimous.
Thank you. And that takes us to your final item today, airport terminal building improvements.
Okay, thank you. This project has been in the works since 2023, when we got a $2 million grant from Congressman Wahlberg to update the terminal building. The terminal building is basically our welcome mat to the community for business aviation. Business aviation provides, and this is 2023 numbers, $48 million in economic impact to the Jackson County. It's a building that was built in 1961. It's been neglected for several years. It needs new windows, it needs a new roof, it needs new boilers. One of the boilers right now is failing, and it's probably going to need to be replaced in the next few months. And each one of those items, the boilers, the windows, or the roof, will cost us about $500,000 to replace. This project allows us to get 20 cents on the dollar on a nearly $3 million project that will update the terminal building so it becomes once again a showpiece to the community. And so I'm requesting $315,133 of funding so we can complete this project.
Committee members, are there any questions? Commissioner Bear.
Thank you. When reading your cover letter, the low bid was Sorensen Gross, $2,621,618. And you included a financial breakdown of the bids. And in the first sheet of that financial breakdown, there's 4 different boxes, which I'm assuming is the 4 different bidders. The name of these various bidders is not on any of these. So the only way I can extrapolate that the second box is the bid from Sorensen Gross is that the amount of the local share is listed. And comparing that local share with your cover letter, that's the Sorensen Gross bid. But the name of the bidders are not on any of these. And on the second page of your financial information you've provided, the $2,621,000, I can't find that price, I can't find that number anywhere. So
Okay,
based
yeah.
on what you've provided, I cannot find the dollar amount that agrees with what you're requesting.
If we look at the page that's on the screen right now, the terminal building rehabilitation. So Sorensen Gross was the low bid, and they were selected as the company. If we follow with this project, Sorensen Gross will do the project. The bid that you mentioned of $2.6 million, that is for the construction of the project. But if we include the design of the project and the study of the terminal building that was required by the FAA to determine what parts of the building is eligible for this grant, that's what brings up the total amount to the $2.9 million. But going back to this page that's being displayed in the screen, if we look at the base bid plus the alternates 1, 2, and 3, the item that's in green includes the bill money that the airport will be getting in 2025, which is, it's projected to be $298,000 approximately. So if we include that money that's going to be given to the airport, then the local amount that's needed is $315,933. If we were not to use that money, then the local amount that will be needed will be $613. And then if you look at the lower items, which will be in magenta, that includes items 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so we've chosen to not include alternate number 4. We're just doing alternate 1, 2, and 3, which is basically replacing the windows and the doors, the 2 boilers, and the roof in the building, plus all the updates in the interior of the building. And that's where the $315,933 comes into play. So the actual amount that will be given to Sorensen Groves is the construction cost for the project, which is $2.6 million. But we've already spent the amount that's given to the architect for designing and for administering the project itself, as well as the $42,000 that was spent in determining what part of the building is eligible for construction.
Okay, so the second page in your financial documents, I can see the base bid, alternates 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And here I can see the $2.6 million that you're asking for. So the second page, that itemized breakdown, that is for Sorensen Gross.
That is correct.
Thank you. Their name's not on here, that's why I'm asking.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other committee member questions? I think for me, the sticking point is that we have boilers that are at the end of their life that are going to need to be replaced in the roof. That would be in a cost in excess of this ask, and they're going to get taken care of via the grants and our costs, so I'll be in support of it. I would be looking for a motion to forward this to the full board with a recommendation of approval.
So moved.
Moved by Duckham, supported by Bear. Any discussion? Seeing none, if you would please post the vote.
It's been posted. Passes unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your work out there. Obviously, from these reports today, we see the airport moving forward, and a lot of that has to do with your leadership, and we
Thank you
appreciate
so
it.
much. Thank you for the support.
Takes us to item G, District Court, 12th District Court Mental Health Court position. Good morning, Jeremy.
Good morning, Commissioners. Have several things to come before you guys this morning. Back in October, you approved our acceptance of a planning grant for getting the mental health court back up and running. We are now at that point to request a full-time coordinator to run that program and take that through into the next phase of actual implementation. And so what you have before you is that request, includes the job description as well as then the scoring as HR has looked at that.
Thank you. Committee members, there is no county match, as you'll see in your report. That being said, are there any questions? Seeing none, I'd be looking for a motion. I'm sorry, Commissioner Bear, go ahead. Commissioner Bear?
Is this the same position that we reviewed, that you presented, we reviewed 6-8 months ago? That part of the funding, 10,000 of that funding went directly to a staff person, that their job description already stated that this responsibility was in their job description.
Right, so at that point, that was doing some above and beyond work that staff person was doing. That was in preparation for this. And so this is a completely different regular position because we didn't have the funding for an entire year through the planning grant for that coordinator position. And so that the attempt was at that time to have that staff person do some of the groundwork that was in preparation for this. This is a completely different position, new position. This person will be taking on all of that other stuff.
Thank you.
Any other questions from committee members? If not, be looking for a motion to forward to the full board with recommendation of approval.
So moved.
Moved by Walls. I'll support. If you could please post the vote.
It's been posted.
You wait on. Phil, is you working?
No. They're looking for it. My vote's no.
Yes, a nay.
Pass. 4-1.
Thank you. Takes us to item H, District Court Courthouse Security Grant Card Access Upgrade.
So I also came before you in the fall about a grant opportunity that we received from the state in a total of $1 million for security upgrades at the courthouse. This is the beginning of some of that through the security committee, through facilities, through our active assailant trainings. It was identified that part of the funds should be utilized to improve the card access in and around the building. So this first request is upgrading the current cards that we have, which are swipe, that are obsolete now, end of life, to proximity readers. And so similar to the door as you walk in and on the elevator, that's a proximity reader. we still have the swipe cards at the courthouse. And so this request is to upgrade all of the current swipe cards to proximity readers.
And from the report, if I read it right, there's no cost to the county. It's all grant funded, correct?
Correct. And this is a single source because of Midwest Securities is the current vendor that operates and oversees all of the county-wide proximity and card access system.
Okay, committee members, are there any questions? Commissioner Bear?
Sorry. This agenda item is just for the purchase, it appears, of the card access equipment. The next agenda item is for the installation of this same equipment?
So I'm reading on my part, approve the upgrade and installation of proximity readers of the courthouse. So this first one would be approving the upgrade and the installation of that upgrade for the current card access system, swipe card systems that we have.
Installation
next one-
and or purchasing it and installing it?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I can ask the question now or when we get to the next agenda item. How is this different than the next item on our agenda here?
Yep.
The new card access install?
Yep. So the next one, that through the audit and through the facilities and the security committee, there are doors that way back when the building was initially set up for card access, that did not receive card access. So these, the second request, are new doors, installing the hardware, running the lines, as well as then the equipment for new doors in the courthouse that already don't have the card access function of that door.
Okay, so the first request, the card access update, they can't perform this work until the second request that will replace the doors is accomplished?
No, incorrect.
What am I missing?
These are two separate items. So for instance, this door out here, that had a new card swipe proximity card that was added recently in the last several months, year or whatever. That is part of the second request as an example. So a new door being added. If there is a current door, like if you go to the front door of the courthouse right now, it's a swipe. That unit would be replaced. So one could be approved, the other couldn't be approved, or vice versa. They are two independent requests, which is why I'm bringing before you the two different things.
Okay, are the equipment, the readers, the swipes, everything associated with that, are they going to be between both projects, going to be the same manufacturer, so there's no incompatibility between them?
Yeah, it's the same vendor that the county uses countywide. So the upgrade and the new are the exact same piece of hardware and equipment.
All right, thank you.
If no other questions, I'd be looking for a motion to forward to the full board.
Support.
Moved by Williams, supported by Duckham. If you could post a vote. Any discussion? Please post a vote.
It's been posted. Passes unanimous.
Thank you. And that takes us to the final district court item, the annual report.
Commissioner, I'm just wanting to make sure that
Oh,
the second
Sorry,
part of that.
you're
Okay,
right.
Thank you.
That'll take us to item I. I don't think you really need to brief us since you already Got
Motion
those
to
questions.
accept and pass the full board.
Moved by Williams. Supported by Walls. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. Takes us to the annual report.
So we did our annual report a little bit different this year. Instead of having a 19-page book, tried to cut down with just more of the facts and the pieces. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit. Just as a reminder, the jurisdiction for district court includes all felonies through preliminary examination, all misdemeanors, traffic, civil infractions, municipal civil infractions, landlord-tenant litigation, general civil lawsuits up to $25,000, and then small claims lawsuits up to $7,000. So in the bottom left of this first screen is the breakdown of the various of those case types that I just mentioned. On the next page, in the upper left, has our graph of our tickets, traffic citations over the last several years. And then our total caseload in the top right for last year of all of those case types that I just mentioned, we were at 21,852. The graph below is a breakdown of those case types in comparison to year over year, 24 versus 23. The middle left, the civil case filings. Within the civil cases, there's a variety of different case types within that. And this is just a comparison over the last 4 years. In the center there is the comparison of the criminal side of the case filings. And that's comparison over the last 4 years as well. Our felonies, misdemeanors, drunk driving. The bottom left is the various civil cases that we have and the breakdown of what that looks like. We process a lot of garnishments. So if there are if someone has a lawsuit and there's cost owing to that person, one of the parties, the winning party, can file a garnishment for taxes and wage. And so that also processes all through our office as well. The bottom right is a breakdown of all the different traffic citations that comprise of the traffic tickets throughout the year. The last page, or the next page, is our probation. This is the breakdown of the type of cases that we have within our probation. The largest majority is operating under the influence, with the second one is going to be then the domestic violence. I'm sorry, the second is disorderly, and then the third one is domestic violence. You have the percentage of success by case for the probation officer. The first one, Ms. Colligan, she oversees all the domestic violence and the assaultive cases. So that is, unfortunately, generally has a lower success rate than a lot of the other type of probation cases. Bottom left has the summary of the courthouse security, or the front door, and the various things that were prevented from coming in the building. And we had over 100,000 people that came through the courthouse last year. And then finally, the financials. Through the course of last year, District Court took in a little over $3.7 million in revenue. The below chart outlines where those funds go. You have the library, the Jackson County Treasury, which is directly back to the funding unit. We have to the state of Michigan, and then municipalities for tickets. There's a fund share with that for items that they do. And then finally, we have our Employee of the Year and our Spark Plug Award. I'm very proud of our team and all the work that we do year in and year out. Are there any questions?
Committee members, any questions? Commissioner Bear.
Thank you, Chairman. On page 3 of your presentation, there's that box with a wheel in it, disbursement of revenue collected by the court.
Yep.
And I see that there's over 428,000 goes to the Jackson Library.
Correct.
The library has their own millage specifically dedicated to the library for their operation. So why are they getting an additional 428,000 out of the court fees?
State law. It was created back with, I believe in the 70s when district court was established before authority.
You said it was created, is that a statute? Or is that
It's
just
state law
something that-
statute in the creation of district courts.
Would you repeat that?
It's statute. It was part of when district courts were created. That was part of the statute that established fines to help support the local library.
All right, so you're saying since it's a statute, we can't change that?
Unless the legislative changes it.
I'll talk to library people. They should, to be upfront with the citizens, they should note that when they're asking for their millage, that they get an additional 400,000 from the courts. Thank you for your information.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's a key point, Commissioner Bear, and the public should be aware of that when they vote on millages, to know that there is some funding outside of the millage available to the county library. That being said, be looking for a motion to receive the report.
So, support.
Moved by Bear, supported by Duckham. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you, Jeremy. Have a great day. Takes us to item K, Circuit Court. We have Charles here. Good morning.
Good morning. Walking a little slow. Hold something on my back over the weekend. Morning, everybody. I wanted to, the pet therapy that Lydia mentioned. We've done it a couple of times at the courthouse once in the last month. I will tell you, employees love it. They brought in, a dozen puppies, and at least 3 to 4 of them were actually adopted by either staff or somebody else in the building. So we're going to continue to do it, and it's like a stress relief too for people, and it doesn't cost anything. So just wanted to say that. I'll answer any questions on any of our numbers. And I got some general comments. I just wanted to make comment too. As you know, we do have a new probate judge that came on board January 1st, and that was Jennifer Kelly. She had been a long time practicing attorney in our probate court for well over 30 years. She's doing a great job. I just want to let you know that. It's almost like she was naturally made for that position. Couldn't ask for a better person to be in that position. I hope you hear positive things about her. Leading up to that, when we went through 24, with Judge Rapley's medical issues that we had for most of the year, we had to rely on 5 to 6 different visiting judges during that course from different places. But 2 of them I really wanted to make a public thank you to. And one is Michael Nye, who is a retired probate judge from Hillsdale County. He spent his whole summer helping us out. He helps run the Hillsdale County Fair. And so the only time he really took off was a week right around there. If not, he changed plans for vacations, and we were truly thankful to him. And then toward the end of the year, the last couple of months into the beginning, Judge Smucker, who is a retired circuit judge from here, helped us out during that period of time. And they just have went above and beyond. Visiting judges are hard to find in our state. They're getting fewer and fewer. But I just wanted to make those comments. And we're in the middle of our first fiscal year with all the juvenile justice changes that, with the laws, they changed approximately 40 laws that became effective during the course of last year on how juveniles are treated in a variety of different, from the courtroom to representation to appeals to assessments, and who we can, and processes of how we detain them. That's going fairly well, but they're in the middle of course, changing rules as we go. But we've adapted to that and moving along. So other than that, we had three jury trials last week. We haven't had 3 jury trials in, I think, about a year. So jury trials are starting to pick up.
Committee members, any questions? Commissioner Duckham.
Thank you. Charles, the visiting judges,
Mm-hmm.
they are prohibited from being actively working because of age? Or is that just a district?
Well, in most cases, a retired judge retired because they can't run over 70. So if you're 69, 11 months, 30 days before the election and you win, you can serve up to another 6-year term. In Judge Smucker's case, he is just over 70 now. But when he retired with a little over 20 years as circuit judge here, he went on to become the state court administrator for several years. He retired from there, and then he went to become the president of the Judicial College out in Reno, and he ran that for 5 or 6 years.
Do they have to take continuing education?
They do now. All judges now, which started a year ago last January, have to have 24, retired visiting judges only have to do 8 of CLL, CLE credits. Sitting judges have to do 24.
Okay, thank you. Just wondering. Thank you.
Sure.
Commissioner Bear.
Thank you. Looking at your financial reports, I can see that in 2021, 2022, that your actual revenue was greater than you had budgeted for. So you made more money than you were anticipating. 23 and 24, your actual revenue was less than what you had budgeted, less than what you had anticipated. So if you received less revenue, how has that impacted the court's operations?
It hasn't directly impacted the court's operations from the standpoint because these monies are collected through the county clerk's office and then deposited within the general fund. They're not known. It's not a known amount that you're going to get. One significant change that happened with the juvenile justice reform package of bills that went through is we can no longer charge juveniles for fines and costs. At the state, there's a couple of state charges that we still can do in there, but we can't charge them anymore. And anything that was charged to that, except restitution. But any other outstanding fines and costs, are uncollectible now.
Okay, thank you for that explanation. Appreciate it.
Yes, sure.
Committee members, any other questions? If not, be looking for a motion to receive the report. Moved by Bear. Supported by Duckham. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. Thank you, Charles. Have a good day.
Ma'am, everybody have a great day.
That takes us to item L, Jackson County Department of Transportation, Michigan Department of Transportation Contract 25-5091 Sutton Road and Wildwood Avenue. Hi, Charlie. How are you today?
Good. So for the Sutton Road and Wildwood Avenue, That is a estimated project cost of $496,000 with a local match of $99,000. That project limit for Sutton Road is from East Michigan Ave to Ann Arbor Road. It's the last portion of Sutton Road that we haven't done any overlays on. And then we also have Wildwood Avenue, which is going to be between the city limits of Jackson and Lawrence Avenue. We had a bid opening, or MDOT had the bid opening for that project last Friday, so Michigan Paving will be the contractor for that project. So we're recommending the board to approve the resolution and signing the contract for MDOT contract 255091.
Committee members, are there any questions? Commissioner Bear.
Morning. The local match, 99,000. None of that's general fund money, is it?
Nope, just MTF funds.
It's what?
Just the MTF funds.
Thank you.
And I'll note that stretch from on Sutton Road is pretty much in front of East Jackson High
Yes,
School.
right in front of the school through there.
I've passed that. It's in dire need of it, so I'm sure the school will be happy about that. That being said, I'd be looking for a motion to forward this to the full board with recommendation of approval.
So moved.
Moved
Support.
by Duckham, supported by Bear. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. Takes us to item M, contracted pothole patching.
Yes, so the pothole patching is for the contract for 1 year with a possible 1-year extension. We're looking to go with all-weather construction and easy tractor work at a cost not to exceed $400,000. This is a program that Jackson County has been doing since 2018. Contractor patching will assist JCDOT to address the potholes that have been occurring throughout the county while our crews continue working on construction activities. But it is important to note that we are still going to be doing pothole patching with our own crews. This is just to help alleviate some of that off of our crews and catch up on it. Last year, we did pay $120 per hour per crew. And this year, both crews that were the low bidders are going to be below that hourly rate. We did send out a formal request for qualifications that was issued in March, and we had 7 contractors respond to the solicitation. But we're proposing on moving forward with this $400,000. We already budget about several $1 million worth of surface maintenance work for pothole patching and wedging, so this is within our allocated budget that we have.
Charlie, last fall, I believe we did this, correct? We contracted out.
If it was, it would have been part of the other contract.
I'm just curious because the company that we used then, I got a lot of positive feedback, which is rare from residents when it comes to roads these days. And I'm just wondering if these 2 that were approved happen to be that same company.
I don't know off the top of my mind. I can definitely check.
Let me
into
know,
that.
that'd be great.
Yep.
Okay.
Certainly.
Commissioner Duckham.
Will this $400,000 be enough to keep them working all through the warm weather seasons?
For the 2 crews that we
Yes.
have, I think we had it set up that we could have 2 crews work the whole construction season coming up.
It seems to me like we're getting behind on the potholes.
Yep.
Kind of a losing battle, I realize that, but just want to make sure we do as much as we can this year.
Yep.
Thank you.
Any other committee member questions? Seeing none, be looking for a motion to forward to the full board.
So moved.
Moved by Walls, supported by Bear. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. Takes us to item N, bulk oil and grease.
Yeah, so this is a contract for purchasing bulk oil and grease for a possible 1-year extension, or 1 year for a 1-year extension through a couple different companies, not to exceed $100,000. This service is to provide the fixed bulk oil and grease that we need for all of our outside garages for the next 1 to 2 years. A formal bid was sent out in February with 8 vendors, and by looking at all the low bidders, We have 4 of them that had different materials that we could use based off of their lowest bids. So we're looking at a cost not to exceed $100,000 for the next 1 to 2 years.
Committee members, any questions? If not, I'd be looking for a motion to forward to the full board.
So moved.
Moved by Bear, supported by Williams. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, passes unanimously. Takes us to item O, Leone Township Intergovernmental Agreement.
Yeah, so this is the Leone Township agreement for the sign ordinance within the public right-of-way. They're asking the county to approve of this agreement. This was a draft agreement that was prepared by our attorney, and it's very similar to the agreement that we did with Columbia Township. I believe it was last year. The township already has an ordinance. They have for signage, so this is something that they're just going to help piggyback off of. Our crews, we don't have the resources to be able to go out there and remove signs within the right of way unless they are considered a safety issue mostly near intersections with sight distance and instances like that. So if there is anything that does happen, we have every right to revoke this agreement if we deem necessary. There is no financial cost to our department for this. It's just helping us in this instance.
Committee members, any questions? Commissioner Bear.
This sounds like the identical request that was brought to us last year,
Correct.
and I'm not sure I'm recollecting the results of that. The one last year, did it get defeated at board?
No, it passed. There was some dissent, including myself. That was Columbia Township, though.
So last year it did pass, but it certainly wasn't a majority.
It was the majority. There was some dissent.
Certainly wasn't
on-
unanimous. Sorry,
Yes, correct.
misspoke. All right, thank you.
Yep.
So off of Commissioner Bear's comments, my concerns are the same as they were with Columbia. Anytime you get a local board doing basically the county's job, and I understand we don't have the resources to go pull everyone, but we do have the resources. It seems that our policy was, if it's a safety issue, we certainly go out and remove it.
Correct.
Whenever you get into local municipalities, then taking that from the county, you're reliant that they're not going to do selective enforcement. And the problem is when you have election season and you have sitting board members that would like to see their signs in places and opponents not in others, some problems can arise. So that and business, certain businesses being allowed to have signs up in the right of way and others not. That's why I'd rather the township not get involved and the county be the sole enforcement agency on that. So I won't be in support of it, just like I wasn't for Columbia. But that doesn't mean that the rest of the board won't. Commissioner Duckham.
Yeah, I would like to concur with Commissioner Kennedy on this, and I think has potential to be vindictive against your opponent in an election coming up, or the guy in the neighborhood nobody seems to want to get along with, stuff like that. So I'm going to vote against it also.
Any other committee member comments? If not, be looking for a motion to forward to the full board. Moved by Williams,
Support.
supported by Walls. I would ask for a roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Walls? Yes. Commissioner Duckham?
No.
Commissioner Williams? Yes. Commissioner Bear?
No.
Commissioner Kennedy?
No.
Fails 3-2.
So this fails, however, it'll still go to the full board, but it will be with this committee's recommendation of not approving it. Takes us to item P, the monthly report.
Sorry, just trying to pull mine up on my screen. There it goes. All right, yeah, for our grant projects, we have our signal modernization project that we have going on right now. The Badgley and Horton Road intersection, the crews are currently out there right now, hanging the new signal heads. And then Airport and Wayland Drive, the contractor plans on being out there later this week to set up the detection zones and hopefully have that going live by the end of this week, if not early next week. Then moving on to the tree removal safety project. All the tree work has been completed on that project other than a few trees on Bailing Road. The contractor was pulled to the upper part of the state because of the ice storm, so they had to divert some of their forces up there. The only remaining work for the project is really stump grinding and chip brushing, and then we'll go back out there and do some pavement markings once the weather warms up. And moving on to the curve signage project. We've currently have 75 curve locations out of the 124 that we have proposed. We're planning on having all of these curves signed by the end of the month if possible. If not, we'll surely have it completed the following month. For the maintenance, we have a summary of all of our Q alerts. We had a very large portion of Q alerts that did come through with potholes, and we tried to prioritize that as an agency, which leading on to my next slide, looking at the chart for March, we had almost 1,400 tons of patching material. So typically we're right around 200 to 400 tons. So we were an additional 1,000 tons of pothole patching. And our crews were working exclusively for about 2 weeks just doing pothole patching to be able to catch up. And we were aiming for any potholes that could have been rim busters, you know, basketball size or larger, and trying to keep up on those. And we still have crews out there trying to catch up on the pothole patching. Leading on to the permits, the frost laws were lifted March 31st. We coordinate with adjacent county agencies to make sure that we're uplifting them and establishing them near the same time. And we had about 187 oversized seasonal permits and 134 right-of-way permits that we had. And that is all I have.
Committee members, any questions? Seeing none, I'd be looking for a motion to receive the report. Moved by Bear, supported by Duckham. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes unanimously. Charlie, can you and Jim, can I talk to you after the meeting, please? Oh, thank you. Takes us to item 5A. I'd be looking for a motion to pay the claims. Motion by Williams,
Support.
supported by Duckham. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that passes unanimously. Takes us to item B, other minutes. I see none. Takes us to item C, reporting schedule for May. As of now, we have the public defender as well as 911. Takes us to item 6A, public comment, second opportunity for public comment. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Last opportunity for public comment. Seeing none, public comment is now closed, and it takes us to item 7A, committee member comment. Is there any committee member comment? No. Seeing none, meeting is adjourned.